weeks, and I'm a media marketing guy who does content. Okay, there's no formula to Fight Net Radio other than I just want to have fun with my friend and talk shit about boxing every Sunday.
They're building a relationship with the promoters, the PR people. You know,
right.
That's all.
But
they're pushing those smaller stories.
And hey, and for anybody who doesn't follow Fight Net Radio and know that I do that with like Roy Jones Jr. boxing or even Thompson or some of these other, I do that shit all the time. But I don't go to their fights and pretend like it's real. Like when I go, it's because I want to go to the fight. Like I'm going to be in Vegas. So, hey, I need an excuse to get out of the house and pretend that this, like, she's not in the house and she doesn't listen to the show, but she doesn't know the difference between Pacquiao or me going to downtown Vegas to go watch a Roy Jones Jr. card. You and I do. Okay. But if I tell her, hey, I'm going to Fresno to go see boxing, she thinks it's going to be the same level as Pacquiao at the fucking Forum. I mean, that's the truth. That's the house I live in. This just in, Leo Santa Cruz. I'm going to take one or two more fights at 126 before I go to 130 and I reach my 50th birthday. What's up with Santa Cruz? I can hold on, huh, buddy?
PBC, man. I don't know. I don't understand any of these guys anymore. You know, he was supposed to have the fight with who was it, Moses? He got injured too. They all get injured. I don't know. I don't know where you want me to go with it. Gary
Eddie
Russell
Hearn
Jr. hopefully
on Wilder's management. I was wondering when that shit would go down. I think Eddie Hearns has finally realized that the PBC is pretty fucking unbelievable.
I think yes. I got mad at that interview, Lee, when that guy Smith was talking about we're not here to unify. We're here as an entertainment company.
That's what it is, Andrew.
Very sad. Very sad that a fighter would want to be a part of
Let me
something
give you
like
all
that.
a comparison. This show is not about listening to stats on boxing. There are a bunch of guys who are nerds with websites. In fact, go to poundforpound.com. I'm going to be honest, and here's a plug. Go to poundforpound.com. Somebody's got to plug that website because clearly nobody's going to it anymore. And I'm not shitting on he's literally my friend. Bill is my friend. But I know this, Bill knows this. The reality is nobody's going to that website because nobody cares. You guys who watch boxing and pretend you guys really think and care, nobody cares. We just want to be entertained. And that's why the PBC is getting away with this bullshit. The PBC has literally followed the lead of, you guys will watch anything as long as there's a car crash involved in it. That's what the PBC is. And we all think that the PBC needs to do more, Andrew, and in reality, they don't. They can do less and get away with it because nobody's stopping them. Right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, they already got the Charlo versus, he's the guy that just beat him the other day, Harrison. They got that rematch already going, so we're going to see that in, 2020? Maybe the end of 19? I don't know.
And the reality, you and I both know this. Guys who do media in boxing aren't going to say shit because the PBC controls at least 30% of boxing right now. And it might affect their chances to go to a fight for free.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm totally... No, there's...
The best thing that ever happened to me
for a while,
was being... Well, okay. The best thing that ever happened to me was me getting fucked over... Well, okay, let's get that correct. Me being a dick and getting blackballed by Magna Media. Okay, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I can at least speak my mind. I can also afford to pay for a boxing ticket, which most boxing writers can't.
That's true, too. Yeah. And you got the luxury of being a little bit closer, right? You can't say that for an East Coast guy. They can't just drive to Las Vegas and go check out one of the big fights. So you have an advantage there. But yeah, for the most part, it is very hard to keep up with the sport of boxing on your own dime, trying to be a media member.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's got a date. Look, I figured it out early on. Look, there was no money in radio when I was on radio. There was no money on the internet in the early days. And I mean, early days was like 10 years ago. Nobody was making, crazy money on the internet like they are now. The writers have never made money. Every single one of the big writers, unless they work for a newspaper writing in for other sports, but guys like Matt Aguilar are real writers. Like, Matt's got actual skill. He can express himself in writing, right? He should be writing at the Chicago Tribune or something. But the reality is, what's he get paid? $50 an article, maybe, for the El Paso Times?
I have no idea, bro.
I mean, I'm not trying to be dicky about it, but you and I both know you can't have a family on that. You can't.
No.
So now what's the only perk to covering and being a part of media for boxing, or even MMA for that matter? Well, you get to go to the fights for free, and occasionally you get fed.
At least in the UFC, they're showing the fights that the fans want. You know, at least they still got that going for them, that you're actually excited when you wake up on that Saturday morning and you know it's going to be a big event. There hasn't been a feeling like that in boxing in a long time. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, Triple G versus Canelo, the rematch wasn't even that feeling. They're both, Triple G's a little bit over his prime. Everyone was already talking about he's one-dimensional. He's on the downside of his career. So no, there wasn't that moment. And then you're right, Lee. I don't know what fight is going to bring that feeling back to the sport or back for the media members that are covering. Another thing that now look, I've never experienced it, but I'm in California. If you made me choose between California and Las Vegas, I want Las Vegas every time. Now, I've never been to the Barclays Center, but a lot of the fights that are taking place are happening at the Barclays Center over there with the PBC nowadays. Is that even exciting? Waking up and going to the Barclays Center, you know? Like, dude, before you're either waking up or you weren't waking up, but you were in Las Vegas. You're gambling. You're hanging out. It's Vegas. Vegas will be Vegas.
Right.
To wake up and go to the, Oakland Coliseum to go watch Andre Ward. Come on. That was not a big fight night for me. It wasn't. I was going there to do my job. I was covering the fight. I like Ward and everything, but it wasn't. You understand what I'm saying, Lee. It's not like I woke up with like butterflies, like, oh my, this is such a huge fight tonight. No, it's not. You're in Oakland. I go watch the A's play there. I go watch the Raiders play there. The Warriors. It's nothing big.
Truthfully, the only joy that I've gotten in boxing, this is going to sound a little kiss ass. The only joy I've got, you know what the joy is in boxing right now? I like at least a higher caliber fight. I like the chat room we have with Fight Net Radio because all of those guys have boxing backgrounds. Nobody's saying anything douchey, right? Which you and I both hate.
We don't have children. Yeah, there's not children on it.
Right. Well, not even that. Inexperienced fan. Nothing worse than an inexperienced.
Well, they're children. That's an inexperienced fan.
Yeah, right.
You're talking to young kids.
Everybody that's on that chat room has trained or been in boxing somehow.
Yeah.
Right? So everybody's got their own perspective on it. There are a few stalkers that are a little crazy in there. Shout out to Sam.
Told you that was a big reason why I got out of the chat rooms. I used to be big in the chat rooms. I loved interacting with all the fans. But then I started answering way too many questions over and over again. Same rants, same people getting mad.
What about Liam Smith, Andrew? What about him?
And then you start talking about the history and they can't go past, 1998. And you're like, hold on, how fucking old are you first? And they tell you, and it kind of puts everything in perspective. You're arguing with a child. I just got out of it. I really did. It got too much. So yeah, that's why I stopped with chat room. I could flatline a person in the chat room, Lee. I really could.
I wrong? Diego Magdaleno was on the Contender, right?
No.
He sure looks like it. I don't know what I know him from. There's a reason I know him.
Oh, bro, him and his brother were born we watched him in the ballrooms their whole career. Those two brothers, Lee, were in a bunch of ballroom fights in Las Vegas on Friday night before the Saturday. That's where you seen them. I bet me and you covered one of their fights together.
Is that what it is? Did we talk to him or something?
It was the Ricky. I think it was the Ricky.
It's contender.
Ricky Hatton. It was Ricky Hatton versus the Colombian.
Yes.
Yeah, we went to one of the Magdaleno fights.
By the way, that's when they still had food at the fight.
Juan Arango.
Juan Arango. There's a name.
Yeah, look at that, pulling it out right there.
It's a good one.
so
Juan Arango's the next big thing. No, Juan Arango is Liam Beefy Smith.
He wasn't. He's undefeated. He's a power puncher.
I mean, really, after Saturday night, is anybody going to remember Alvarez? Is Eliter Alvarez going to be around in boxing history?
He's PBC. He'll get back to PBC.
No, he's not. He's Bob.
And then they won't know him, huh? Because he's only going to...
It's like Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn's like this weird hiccup in boxing history. Shout out to Sam. But
who's Zahir Rahim was a hiccup in boxing. Remember when he beat Eric Morales? Shit, Bob Arum and Pacquiao acted like that shit didn't happen. They're like, no, we'll rematch Morales later. Bye, Zahir. Bye-bye.
Right. But that's a big Bob move, right? When there's a hiccup in boxing where the matchup just suddenly goes sideways, the Felix Strum effect is a real thing in boxing for Bob. Like, if you can't fix it, don't talk about it.
Change the outcome in the dressing room. Levander Johnson versus Jose Luis Castillo.
I swear to God,
if Bob walked in and said, it was a mistake in the cards, give me the belt, kid. Sorry about that. Here, Floyd, you're going to fight this Mexican. Forget that African-American that's 32-1. You're going to fight Jose Luis Castillo. He's fought 4 times. He's lost 4 times, been knocked out 4 times. That's who you're going to fight for the title, Floyd. And he lost.
And there's people listening to this going, that's not true. Really? Vasily Lomachenko lost. He shouldn't even be in the top pound-for-pound category. Like, he hasn't avenged that loss. Like, you guys don't get it. He lost. I mean, that's just... There are things about the pound-for-pound list that that tell you how corrupt... The fact that the number 1 pound-for-pound considered boxing's pound-for-pound, right, is Vasily Lomachenko, depending on the list you're looking at, Andrew. I'm on SI. Vasily motherfucking Lomachenko. I don't want to break it to everybody because I'll say it again. He's still 12-1.
Right.
Like, how do you not go and fix? Bob's like, fuck that. He doesn't need to be, 12-2. He can't win that fight, right? Saul Canelo Alvarez, number 2 on the top pound for pound. I don't have an issue. I think he should be pound for pound king. Personally, at least the dude takes the fights. I mean, are his fights great? No, but fuck. I mean, who is there for him to fight anyway? I mean, really, seriously, who gives a shit about whatever weird niche of middleweight he is? Like, he's some weird super middle under, I'm kind of under over. What's his fucking weight? What is he?
Well, he's going to make up a new one. We haven't heard it yet. But there will be a catch weight between super middleweight and middleweight.
Yeah, right. He's like the boogeyman. Like, you only fight up his weight, whatever.
It's going to be like middleweight.
Middleweight. Fucking brilliant. Middleweight. Terrence Crawford probably should be number 1 pound for pound because, let's be honest, he hasn't lost. Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Lee. Go ahead.
I have a simple criteria for pound, Andrew. You can't have lost. Okay?
Can you do junior super middleweight? That's what
junior super middleweight. I like. How about super junior middleweight?
Yeah, super junior middleweight. There you go. That's Suleiman will announce that shit doesn't quite work,
but super junior middleweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo Alvarez has a nice ring to it. It's got a nice ring, right? Live on DAZN. Terrence Crawford. I want to make an argument that he should be the number 1 pound for pound. And here's why. He's never lost, Andrew. He's never lost.
He did a lot better in the junior welterweight division than he's done recently. They missed out on the Pacquiao. And, I know you guys, Bob's been putting out there lately that it was him that killed that fight. I don't know why Arum's saying that when anyone who remembers that time knows that Manny Pacquiao did not want Terrence Crawford unless he was getting paid $20-something million, and that fight was not
that's going to be his last fight.
Exactly, and that fight was not going to generate that type of money. So I don't know if maybe Bob's trying to save some kind of relationship with Manny. Maybe down the line he could get him for a fight. So he'll go ahead and take the heat on, I'm the one that didn't want the Crawford Pacquiao fight. That's total bullshit, because I remember covering that issue. Manny Pacquiao and his team were asking